Assalamu alaikum. We Muslims have a very rich heritage and we are very proud of it. We acknowledge all the time that our deen is founded upon Tawheed, that our path, our teachings, our Quran, the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is based that there is only one light, one truth, one reality that is beyond any limitations or any boundaries, Allah Azza wa Jal. We talk about Tawheed, but how do we get transformed by Tawheed? Is the path of our deen, is the path of Islam, Iman, Ihsan. Having inherited something gives us also, or brings with it, considerable responsibility. It's something when you talk about a situation, it's something else when you respond to a situation, it's something else when you know the situation is not going to be healthy or well. As we say, there is a big difference between ilm al-yaqeen. Somebody tells you there is a fire in the garden. It's knowledge. You've been informed. But there is a difference between informed and being transformed. So ilm al-yaqeen, you are informed. Then ayn al-yaqeen, you see the fire. And you have in the past experienced the burning effect of fire. So from knowledge, you're now having sight. Then comes ayn al-yaqeen. And comes haqq al-yaqeen. That you know you're going to burn. You will run. You will help others to run or whatever. So there is a difference. There is a gap in energy, in response, in realization. There's a gap between having some information that there is one creator, one sustainer, one reality. Allah has got all these wonderful attributes. There is a big difference between being told that as a kid, as a child, learning their deen, and beginning to see the light of all of those attributes. As Ibn Arabi says, for example, he says, the first thing that happens in Tawheed is that you begin to see that all actions emanate from one source. That is called Tawheed al-Af'al. In that, there is one source of this energy in this world, or in this universe. Then you begin to see Tawheed al-Sifat, that all of these attributes that we refer to, they are different. The attribute of Al-Shafi is different from Al-Fattah. But they all connect, they all relate, they eventually return because they have emanated from the same place, Allah Azza wa Jal, the original light. We have lots of wonderful examples, wonderful teachings and heritage in Islam as to how do you get into the point of transformation. There are dozens of ancient books. There are hundreds of different Sufi also prescriptions, descriptions. One of the earliest ones is a book called by Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, Misbah al-Sharia in Arabic, the lantern of the path, that I think we've even published it. There are about 100 different points. Many of them are to do with qualities and attributes. Amongst the most important ones is the effect of fear upon us, khawf, fear of suffering, fear of pain, fear of affliction. It's a big drive in us. It's always accompanied by the great masters with hope. You fear, but you also have raja. As they say, we have two legs. One of them is fear from suffering, of doing mistakes, because I will pay a price also. And the other one is good expectation, that I know Allah will save me, Allah will in one way or the other, will in every way forgive my mistakes and will clear the path for me towards constant awareness. What I want to share with you in 4 talks, different modern ways of moving from information to total transformation. That's why I call them 4 doors to enlightenment. Now you can imagine these doors are along a passage, or you can imagine them as parts of a ladder that you're climbing up to a wider horizon. If you are in a dungeon, you don't see much. If you are higher up, on top of a mountain, you have a far bigger vista. But it doesn't mean that the passage or the pathway that you took earlier on at the bottom of the mountain is redundant. For you it may be redundant, but you can't have that door closed. In other words, the first door I want to discuss with you today is that of Hijra, leaving behind. Now, Hijra is at numerous levels, but we, as we are growing up in higher consciousness, higher awareness, subtler, if you like, discernment, greater insights, is different from physically just leaving the comfort of your bedroom or your house. It's a different Hijra. What about the Hijra in our mind? How many things we are attached to in our own subtle mind which we don't want to talk about? How about making Hijra from those? What about Hijra from your own assumption that you are such a great person? Amongst the biggest problems in our heritage is the, if you like, pomposity or pride of so-called religious people. How about making Hijra from that? Of your own opinion about your own self. Prophet ﷺ reminds us that your ultimate enemy is your own self, is within your own chest, in your breast, your ego. And what about when it becomes a religious ego? These are amongst the things we are all suffering from collectively. As you know, life is work in progress. It's all a passage. We have emanated from that awakening of higher consciousness, of Adam, consciousness of consciousness, awareness of awareness of awareness. So we are heirs, so to speak, of a passage that will lead us to where it is already present. Pure awareness, supreme awareness, Allah's presence, Al-Hadrat al-Rabbaniyah. So Hijra is continuous. It does not end, even no matter where you are at the peak of your inner awakening, subtler meditation of light upon light. Because the fear of habits or attachment to situations is always there. Much of our heritage, it dwells upon ahwal and maqamat. There are dozens of wonderful, if you like, critical descriptions of these. Take on a hal, the hal of sabr. Be patient. Something comes, put it in your mind that what doesn't matter, another 5 million years, it doesn't matter. Postpone. Freeze time. Stop space. And you go beyond the cocoon of space-time. But what I want to share with you really is much more modern in its usability and user-friendliness. Question of Hijra, I will read for you few ayahs I've selected, such as إن الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله. It's a beautiful ayah, late ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. Certainly those who have trust and faith in that you will be guided, faith that you will come to know that Allah's nur is in your heart as a ruh. There is no distance. It's only a child who, on the spiritual path, who says, am I closer to God? Am I further than God? Allah is not subject to distance. Where is it that that light is not already prevalent? So the ayah says, it is about those who have trust and faith that they will come to know that there must be more work to be done to get out of all of the illusions and the precipitations of years of habits, or mental habits, physical habits, social habits, material habits, and so on. Certainly those who have that trust and faith, and those who leave it behind. وَالَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا, leave behind shortcomings, leave behind that which is not conducive. If I am oppressed in a town or in a city or in a job or in an environment or in a domestic situation, I want to leave it behind. You hear that a lot from people who say, oh, I wish I could leave this thing. I wish I could leave my home or my place or my tribe or my... So Hijra is an essential inner quality that appears also as an outer action, that I've left behind my old habits. You used to enjoy this, that and the other, and you found that they're not good for your health, not good for your well-beingness, not good for your quality of mind and heart. You leave it behind. And then with it comes jahadu, struggle. It is a struggle to get out of habits. The mother suffers a lot by weaning a beautiful baby whom she loves and he loves her. Because for the baby, the mother is the source of life. It is all what she or he knows and enjoys, both by taking milk and then interacting, because the real, dedicated, faithful mother is always available. That's why the husband feels quite left out. He said, what came over? Before the baby, I was number one. And now there is some other people, some other competition. So you must leave behind through struggle. They go together. The weaning of, I used to love this thing before, but I don't love it anymore. I hear many of my close friends telling me that they are losing their friends. A friend who was with them 10 years ago, they don't find anything more in common. But that's good news. Congratulate such a person. You have moved in consciousness. You're not still the same childish fellow enjoying the same silly things that you did when you were 15, 20, 30, 40. You change. That's wonderful. So this ayah reminds us and encourages us that it is these people who expect rahmatullah. They expect mercy right now. By changing, by turning, by struggling, saying, it's unacceptable. I know my fears and anxiety about material power did not get me much happiness, durable happiness. Nobody denies material power. Nobody denies material well-beingness. Nobody denies the need for reasonable health. But that's not going to be sufficient. It is a necessary condition, but not sufficient. The other beautiful ayah similar, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَهَاجِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. First you have trust and faith that there is this one total light, Allahu nuru samawati wal ardh. And then you leave it in the way of Allah. بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. With whatever power you have of wealth, of ability, of energy. بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. By yourself also. Who are you? Who are you as a person? The intelligent person who has been seeking will tell you that I am both an evolving self, ego, changing, and a light within me which is beyond me called ruh. My life is dependent upon ruh. And ruh, nobody knows what's its nature. It's a bundle of light and energy that has come to the womb, and now by its grace I say I am alive. But the I is ever changing. I am not the same as I was yesterday. I will not be the same as I will be tomorrow. I will not be the same when I leave the body behind. But that I-ness, the idea of ongoingness, continues. The ruh continues. So, بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ, I must make hijrah for myself. I must make constant hijrah from my biography. Yes, you say, I've changed. I used to like this and that and the other, and I always wanted to have a big house, and now I know what a dreadful suffering it is because of its maintenance and the upkeep. As the electricity bill goes up, the whole damnation goes up. So I've changed my mind. So it's wonderful to be able to say, I've changed my mind. I'm not the same as I was last year. Somebody comes and tells you and says, Muhammad Hassan, you said, yes, but I'm not the same as I was last year. Muhammad Hassan, 1 year older, 5 years old, changed. We want contentment. We want all the time to access a zone within the heart that is ever constant. We don't deny all the other lights. We don't deny all the other shadows. We don't deny otherness. But we seek oneness. How can that oneness be other than at a level of inner, if you like, essence? Ruhullah. That is where we are one. Outwardly, no two people are the same. Outwardly, the same person is not the same as days pass by. So, stability to the individual comes by recognizing change, otherness, but making hijra, making constant reference to the ever reliable oneness. Without that, we are all the time insecure, all the time running from here to there, Safa and Marwa, wanting that total inner certainty, security, joyfulness. The ayah also is beautiful. وَالَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا فِي اللَّهِ, traveling, making hijrah in the way of haqq, in the way of realization of enlightenment. مِن بَعْدِ مَا ظُلِمُوا, after they have been wrongly done. Every one of us, sometime or another in our life, we feel there has been injustice perpetrated upon us. But if you realize that at the end of the day, it is you as a person committing more injustice against the real you by not waking up to the light in your heart, then you forgive all other injustices. That is why it's a beautiful saying and a teaching that if you yourself concern yourself about your own wrongdoingness, you will not accuse anyone of their wrongdoingness. So you are occupied now to clear your own mess, your own house. This level that I'm discussing with you, leaving behind, nahy an al-munkar, is also akin to what the great Sufi masters always reminded us of, takhliyah, emptying out. They often use these terms. One of them is takhliyah, leave out, clean out, empty the space, clear the space. With it also they often refer to tasfiyah, which is the next talk, inshallah. It is about doing the good things. Purify. But how can you purify if you've got the house full of junk? If our mind and our biography is full of mess?